April 26th, 2023, Economic Development Committee meeting. And it is 5:40 p.m. And we have our quorum present, so we're good?
And digitally recorded and broadcast
Thank
live.
you for that, because it's our first time digitally recorded and broadcast live. Thank you very much. Okay. And did everyone have a chance to take a look at the agenda? Okay, and what about the minutes?
Where were they?
Okay, so I put them in, and I did think of it at the last minute. They are in our Google Drive, because I'm trying to get used to it.
Oh.
That's
Yeah,
it.
no, I didn't look at them because you
Okay.
didn't tell me to, sorry.
Yeah, I didn't have a chance to look at them.
Can we put the minutes up there?
Sure.
Or I've got them printed out here, I could make copies for everybody.
How are people's eyes?
My eyes are fine, I can read.
All right, then we can put them up.
Okay.
And I got old lady eyes, I can still see it.
Share drives.
Okay, there we go. Speaking of
I think it
eyes.
was up on the right.
It sure was, with that flower.
She's got
You
good.
got
Yes.
two with the flower.
Nope.
Nancy and Alfonso.
Oh my gosh, so sorry.
Tell Al I said hi.
Yeah. Or Nancy.
I don't think I've ever
We
met
call it about
Nancy.
mom singing in the
You
concert.
must have
with
met
the singers.
Nancy. She's at the senior center all the time. No? You've got to.
It would be for 2:15, correct?
2:15?
Yeah, cause remember, 2:15, cause we didn't have March.
It was my birthday.
Happy birthday, oh nice, the day after Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Are you reading them?
Well, he has to
Josie?
scroll it. There we go.
Oh, you sent me a draft and this is what
Yeah.
I.
Yep.
I mean, it's in the minutes that Katie is a Facebook rock star.
Cause that's what was reported.
Okay. Nice.
It's just my job to record.
Madam Chair, I motion that we accept the minutes from the previous EDC meeting of
Maybe.
2/15/23.
Thank you, but I don't think everyone's finished reading.
Oh, yeah, well, we got to the point, I'm a rock star, there we go.
Yeah, she doesn't wanna miss that.
I mean, I can still make the motion.
Okay, second motion to
I'll
approve the
second.
minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. Meeting
Yep,
adjourned,
there
there we
we
go.
go.
Okay.
Done.
Beautiful.
I actually was in the prior minutes. I was gonna say just to correct the spelling of my name, but
Oh.
it's fine in this one. The current minutes, it's PH. It's with an F.
I can put small.
I should have seen that too. Okay.
Are we all in favor? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, no, brother.
That's okay, I'm not trying to help you.
Thank
I'm like,
you.
you missed the step.
Not
Yes.
the first time.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
Supposed to call for any opposed.
Oh, any opposed?
it's been one of those days.
It just really has, hasn't it? This is crazy. Okay. Should I start the agenda now? No, kidding. Okay.
You're good.
All right, old business, the Hubbardson Business Tours. I happen to have one of the businesses contacted me about looking at Peaceful Acres for a campsite there for long-term during the summer. And we went and we met with Carol. And unfortunately, during the storm, they were really massacred. I mean, trees are down, lines are down. She had done quite a bit of renovation there, I don't know if there were bathrooms that she converted. Katie and I have been there several times to
Yeah.
check on
Have
her
you,
in the
do you
past
guys know
couple
where
years.
Peaceful Acres
That off
is?
of Mount Jack?
Oh, so on
just
Flag
saw a
Road?
sign for it.
Flags.
Yeah,
Something,
off
yeah.
the
Yes.
very end of Flag.
Yes,
Really?
way
I
out
went down
Yeah.
there one time and I'm
And
like,
you're like, what is
maybe I
this?
shouldn't go any further.
Yeah.
Exactly. It does have that foreboding, you know. But they had put a little bit, some money into taking their, either their restrooms or something like that and turning them into cabins, let's say.
Well,
And s-
yeah, no, I think it was the cabin that they were up
And they
doing.
redid the
Yeah,
cabin
they were up
cabins?
doing, those weren't
But
bathrooms,
they
those
did
were
pretty good
cabin,
on
yeah.
them. I mean, they did a, basic. Anyhow, very sad that, that they have those problems. But I was thinking, we talk so often about agritourism, things like that. Here we have a campground that actually has accommodations for people. We don't have that anywhere else in town. So I would like to maybe, again, nobody can walk the property right now because of all the electrical wires being down and whatnot. But when that is done, when they are open for us to walk through, I'd like to maybe get a few of us together to go there and look at it. Talk to Carol again. I will tell you that she has a beautiful, beautiful enclosed swimming pool on the premises. She has a common building that has a kitchen, like a meeting building. It looks very much like a fisherman's lodge.
Yeah.
Very plaid and, whatever, but these are other things that we don't have anywhere else in town to utilize, or for people coming into town and needing a space. So I'd like us to maybe go as a group, or ask what you think about that, and just get an idea about it, and maybe we can help promote it, because if we're able to have accommodations for people to come for weekends and that would be terrific. And you might even be able to get some athletic clubs or, groups of bicyclists or something like that, and you want a nice little place to stay, and it's on the water. I don't know if I recommend the water.
No, but it does butt right up against a whole lot of state forests
Yeah.
and stuff like that,
Trails.
so it's,
Yeah.
I mean, I think her property
It's like
alone
the
is
bomb.
300 acres.
I know,
and
it's
it
huge.
butts
Yeah.
a lot of state homeland, so.
And I think we probably, our experience, Katie and mine in the past, was might have to lead her to the water to see the value of, let's say, opening up to us helping her. But I think it's worth it for both. I think it's worth it for her, and I think it's worth it for the town to be able to offer those accommodations and that kind of thing. So that's my suggestion. Any questions or any thoughts about that, or comments?
How long has it been open, the campground?
It's been a while.
Forever.
It's been a
Yeah.
while.
It's like one of those hidden gems that nobody in town knows about.
Yeah.
It's like literally, it's like Ron Burton's sports camp.
Yeah.
Nobody has a clue. You say,
Mhm.
they're like, what? And it's like, yeah, it's this massive facility, and it's like, it's acres, and they have like pools and things, and everyone's like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
No, none.
Yeah, yeah, it's the same thing. It's been around for a very long time. Yeah, it's kind of low key and like a step back in time with trying to do bookings and things like that. It's not like you can find it at like campgrounds.com or
Oh,
something
yeah, the
like
reason why
that. Yeah.
this person reached out to me was they heard about it on one of the social, by somebody just mentioning it, and they couldn't get a hold of her in any way, shape, or form. No Facebook, or there's no phone number, or anything like that. Yeah, it is, I think it's
It's mostly like a seasonal
her-
campground
her-
facility.
The base,
What
she
kind of
said to us that the majority of her business, and she's quite happy with it, were those that came for the season,
Yeah.
and not the people just coming
Like,
by the weekend.
The
Yeah.
campers are like
For like the
there.
summertime?
Yes.
No, the campers like
Stay there all the time.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they build on
Yeah.
like
Like
sunrooms
mhm.
to them, and like those things ain't moving. Like
Yeah.
they're there, you
I
know.
mean, they leave in the winter, but their stuff
But
stays
their stuff,
behind.
yeah, right.
Yeah, and that seems to work well for, she likes that. But she also Airbnbs one of, 2 cabins there
Mm.
as well. And I think that's been working for her pretty well. The reviews on it are very nice. But I just, I think it's an opportunity that we might wanna just tap into, as we are promoting agritourism, ecotourism, and outdoorsmen, and trails and all of that. So that's my thought, and I'd like anyone else's.
Yeah, it's very limited what you can find on the internet.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
she's not on there.
Yeah,
It's
then
not.
There's one good review and one bad.
Is that for Tiggers?
Tiggers.
Or triggers. Triggers?
No, it's Tiggers as
It
in.
is Tiggers?
as
It's an
in-
insect,
as-
right?
What's that?
Isn't it an insect, Tiggers?
No, Tigger's Cabin, like, isn't that part of Winnie the Pooh? Isn't
Oh,
Tigger
yeah.
a character in Winnie the
Just for
Pooh?
Peaceful
And I think I'm
Acres,
older
there's
than
a couple of-
everybody here, and I knew it.
No photos.
So
I
am I
guess
understanding
the
though
way
that
to
she
do that.
kind of likes being off the grid with her business, or is she open to like, does she want more business?
Well, I think she might want, but
Yeah, she kinda, like.
you know what, she's
Car-
by herself.
Yes,
For the
Carol does, like, she runs her business.
Every time we go
She
there,
does.
she's on the tractor,
Okay.
okay? She
Yeah,
wasn't this
so-
last time I went, cause it was the middle of winter, you know, it was just a couple of weeks ago. I think she has one person who helps her there.
Yeah.
And I think that she's just as, I don't like that these things are up.
Well, it's just Carol runs her business.
Yeah.
That's, and I think she likes it that way. I don't think she wants to change it all, but eventually she, will most likely end up selling, and I hope it stays a campground. I would hate to see that property get broken up and turned into, like condos or something, like, not that, I mean, I get that we need like, senior housing and stuff like, I would love
Yeah.
to see that stay a campground, and
Sure.
it's like a gold mine down there if it was run a little differently. I mean, again, Carol's doing Carol, she's doing it her way, and that's fine, and it works for her, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I think she's in the mindset of she wants to run her business rather than have the business run her.
Mm.
She's not,
Yeah.
she's, I think of the retirement age, she's recently a widow.
Yeah.
And so I think that it's kind of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
But maybe she would feel differently if we could propose, and everything, she'd be in charge of everything, it's not like you would take over the campground, but just give her a couple of options and
Yeah,
and
just
like that.
Another thing that comes to mind too is if she's running it by herself, the high school students that need community service.
Great idea,
Always looking for
Just for
opportunities,
some
yep.
support,
terrific idea. Okay,
Should host a festival.
Festival,
Well, she does
Bring a
have
lot of
some
business.
open fields. There's like 2 massive open
Is there a
fields
hill?
out there. One is on a slope, one's flat.
Those are good for sound.
So, yeah, and it's right up by the main, lodge area along with the pool. So, yeah, set away from the other campers and stuff like that. So it could, cause I've talked to her about possibly having like scouts go up there and camp and
Yeah.
things like
Right,
that
yeah.
in the field and stuff. And she has done that in the past, long ago.
that
There
pool
was-
is beautiful, I mean, it is, and it's big, I mean, it's just, and it's all enclosed.
Yeah.
And it's just a really nice, I mean, she can, even if she did, I mean, she could have that for her guests, but she could also pay a daily rate and come and swim in the pool. $3, $5, each day during the summer, or have a summer pass for the residents.
I wonder though what the like insurance around that is, because obviously swimming is an activity that, has,
But I would think that it would be included in, for the campground. The people that were
Yeah.
coming for the campground, why would someone coming overnight, why would it be different than a person coming for the day?
I don't know,
Yeah.
just curious as to whether it would be.
You might know that, would it be any different for guests, whether they were overnight
I don't know
guests?
that off the top of my head.
Okay, I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, I know she did, I was watching the Board of Health meeting, and she did get her campground and she submitted pool, or she had to submit the pool testing a second
Yeah.
round or something like that.
Yeah.
But she did get her camping permit, so she should be open
Yeah.
usually around Memorial Day.
Good.
So hopefully she'll have everything cleaned up and ready to go for
I doubt it.
her regular residents, that camp there seasonally.
Well, if the electric companies and all that are helping her, then that might be done, but if they're not, then. And unfortunately, when I was there, she had said that that was the very weekend, and it was only 2 weekends ago, it was the very weekend that they were going to start doing some cleanup of what had happened. So
Yeah.
we'll keep our fingers crossed. I'll let everybody know if anyone's interested in going and speaking with her and see
Yeah,
what we can do.
I'll go down, I have no
Okay.
problems
I'd love to see it.
swinging down there.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Any other comments? Okay, thank you. Next on the agenda is our 3rd annual meet and greet, update on date and venue. It's been changed a bunch of times, the date. We pushed it back, and so we decided, Josie and I, as you know, she volunteered to assist with that, and we pushed it back to May 19th. From the 5th to the 12th to the 19th. And
5:30?
5:30,
Okay,
correct,
just wanna make sure I had it in my
And
calendar.
I did secure the Pinecrest Lodge for it. and I did send out, and I'll,
Pinecrest Lodge
I'm
is
so
up.
sorry.
No, that's okay, it's like one of those, you have to, like, new people, so,
Where's that?
yes. Pinecrest Lodge is off Bemis, so that whole area up there with all like Mohawk and Iroquois and all that stuff, it's.
When
a-
you pass the
so-
railroad
yeah.
tracks,
As you're going towards Westminster.
going towards Westminster,
Oh.
and you come up over the hill.
Okay, I
and
have
then-
been
Yeah.
down Bemis.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah. On the corner there, it used to be Nampar Farms.
Uh-huh.
That's why there's that weird little,
It's
like,
a very cool
that
house.
house that's like,
Oh, that
what
looks
is
like a
it?
storefront?
Yes,
like a
that used to be
storefront,
their
yeah.
storefront.
Okay.
And
That
the
makes
rest of
sense
those
now.
houses weren't there, it was all farms. And so you go down there and there's this beautiful old barn and then there's, a little like lodge, which is Pinecrest, and it actually used to be, skiing facility. There was a rope tow. We used to have our own skiing
It's
facility.
it's
so-
brick or stone on the outside, I can't remember which, but it's got a nice kitchen in there, it's got sliding glass doors. It's kind of got 2 rooms, fireplace on one side and then the other room on the other side. We're very generous about it, we used it once before for our first meet and greet. And it can hold quite a few people, there's tables and chairs, we could set it up however we want, and everything's there for us. I did send out only a save the date, because
The Pinecrest Association, the.
yes. I did send out a save the date, but on the save the date, and I'll send everyone a copy of it, and on it I said detailed invitation to follow. I just wanted them to save the date, our experience has shown we need to do that. But now we also need to get that invitation out, because I need to follow up on that invitation as well, because we know our businesses. And we don't, on our first meet and greet, I think 6 or 7 businesses came, that was it. But it was our first one, so there might be, more folks coming, we hope.
Let's
more-
hope.
More on this one.
It's gotta keep
I'll-
going here.
I'll let Nate talk a little bit about, if you want to, about what we had thought for a format, if you will.
Yeah. What we're actually doing or what we had talked about?
Well, how we came to where we are today.
How we came to where we are today is I had wanted to incorporate a number of the regional economic development, like nonprofits and business organizations such as Chamber of Commerce and the Wachusett Incubator, Mass Hire, to come and sort of have a resource fair to attempt to get people to think outside of the box and have ideas and be aware of what is going on in the region. However, we might be a tad too late to do that in 3 weeks. So we're going to hold off on that and have a traditional meet and greet for the business people of Hubbardston. And I'm hoping either in the capacity through my office or in partnership with the EDC to do that down the road when we can give people enough time to put it on their schedule and to invite a good amount of people. So, yep, that's about it.
Yeah. And that format was going to be a little bit formal, for, let's say, for the amount of home-based businesses that we have. And the reason that I mentioned earlier about some not having, licenses and that kind of thing, don't want to, scare them away, so maybe we'll ease into it. I think this will be a really nice, opportunity for our businesses to meet the 3 of you. They know the rest of us, I'm sure. I mean, I have a lot to do. I'm with them all the time. You have been. I think, Christopher, you probably met with a handful of businesses.
Time to time.
Yeah. But to meet everybody, would be nice and introduce, what we're doing as well, okay, to them. So, that's where we're at. So we'll be a little, casual, and keep our fingers crossed
I'll
about
hope
getting
that
some.
we would use the,
Go ahead.
what they're saying to form the needs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, of course. Well, I mean, that's the thing, to engage in dialogue and to know, to come to us. We can't help you if we don't know what the problem is. We can't assist you, unless so yeah, we want to have them feel comfortable with reaching out to us and let them know also about what we're doing and some of our stuff. You were raising your hand.
Yeah, I don't know if I should just talk. or
Just
raise
talk.
my
Yeah,
hand.
go ahead.
Just talk.
So I'm curious, so like, how are we marketing what we're doing to the businesses? Do you have like a database list of registered business?
Well, I
Or,
do
like,
have a master.
Emailing or mailing things
No, I'm
to?
emailing, and that was another thing, I'll just say real briefly. Okay, so there was a master list of the businesses, and I have a copy of it. It wasn't very complete, and over the years, chairing the committee, I've added and added and added, because, you know, a lot of information, and passed it on to, Lori Reed. That's who was town clerk at the time. Also, back in 2019, we had taken a vote, our committee took a vote to include on our business licenses, business application, an email address and/or social media accounts, because all I have is phone numbers. You know how difficult it is for me to get, to reach them in masses? It was phone call after phone call after phone call. That, we were told, that got passed, right? And then we were told that at the next printing of our business applications, they would be included. I don't think that they are. I got the newest version.
I was there, I sat with Lori and she put it on.
She did do that?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
it's in her system. It's like she prints them out, like she doesn't like mass print them out. When you come in to refill it out, she prints one out.
Okay.
She did fix it unless somebody like either
Okay.
is using an old version.
What happened was I went to Kristen the day before yesterday
Yeah.
on Monday,
Yeah,
and I asked her for the most recent business list,
yeah,
and it didn't include any of those things.
cause I was there when she fixed it.
Okay, that's
So it's
fine.
somewhere, so we gotta make
Okay.
sure that happens
So we
again.
need to follow up with that and make
Yes.
sure that from now on it's included,
Yeah.
okay? And we'll do that. But if anybody wants a copy of that, I can get it to you, or you could pick one up in town, or I guess I could put it on that drive to Google.
Just
Stop in and meet Candace, the new
I've
town clerk,
met her twice
because
now.
there's a good chance she'll be able to find it.
Okay, that'd be great. I stood there while Kristen was looking for it and looking
Yeah,
for it and
if
looking.
not, she could put it on,
Okay, fine.
the new one, Candace, she'll be able to.
Yeah.
Cause that's all Lori did, was just took the template and just added it.
Perfect.
She's like, where do you want it? I'm like, I don't care, just make it get on the paper. you
Yeah,
know?
you need to have
We need
that.
the email address.
It would just make it so much easier.
Yeah.
It really would.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, okay, so, let's see. I have a current one here somewhere. Well, I got a lot of pages here, don't I?
Is
This is it.
this something?
And here's all the stuff that I've added. It's just like ridiculous to look at. Yeah, and we don't have anything. We have, owner name, business name, street mailing address, and phone number, and that's it.
That's not the only copy, is it?
No,
No.
no, it's in the
Like, that's
system.
a-
No, but I mean, every
Special
page I
document.
added more and more and more and more and more, so it should be quite. The other thing is, it's done in order of the certificate number, of the license number, rather than alphabetical.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we could
That could be
deal with
changed.
that. I'd like it to be changed, but I don't wanna confuse anyone more than they, look, all these changes, okay. So that's
And
where
if
we
that's
are
an
with-
old copy, you probably have, there's more that has been added, I'm sure.
Oh, I would hope so.
Yeah.
I would hope, I don't even know the date of this one. Well, it was when we needed it.
Yeah,
Probably
that's
2
what I
years
mean,
ago.
so as soon as one gets, someone comes in, it's added the system, so therefore that is,
Yeah, I'm gonna be comparing it for sure. Well, yeah, yeah, okay. All right, any
You had a question?
comment? Yeah.
Is this something that we're using, like utilizing social media to talk about the meet and greet?
That's a good question.
Like to.
Okay, so you are a Facebook rock star. I do nothing. It's added. I did one post, but I could
I know.
like.
I was like, yay, and then I was like, oh, that's it, okay.
I would be happy to, if you think it would be helpful to create a digital flyer
Feel
that
free.
we can post on the different pages. I'd be curious to see what you would want it to include. If you have a copy of maybe save the date or the invitation, if you have
Well,
those yet.
I only found out today from Nate that we were not going to have
Yeah.
that panel. And the reason that I held off with doing a formal invite was
Was
because.
to talk about that.
Was because,
Gotcha.
was because I thought that would be, we should include some of those people. Hey, come and meet and speak with boom, 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 boom.
Mhm.
And then, so I'm glad I didn't do that.
Yeah.
So now we know what we are and aren't dealing with, and I'm ready to get on it, and I'll talk to you about it, Regina, in the next day or two,
Yeah, okay.
and we'll go from
I'd
there.
imagine a just traditional business meet and greet, talk
Yeah.
about the ideals that you have, what do you wanna see, what's your business going through,
Okay.
like that kinda stuff.
Come meet your EDC committee, we always call it EDC committee, and that's Economic Development Committee.
Yeah. I just say EDC, yeah.
So, yeah, but come invite, meet your members and like that. Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, if you create a flyer and put it on there, and then we can all share the hell out of it
Yeah.
on all the other pages too.
Super.
So feel free,
Okay.
that would be great.
I can do that.
Good.
More than one
less
people
thing.
can be a rock star.
Yes, please, somebody else take
Yeah.
something, please.
Okay, any other comments or questions about our meet and greet? No, okay. And so new business, I'm going to maybe, Nate, do you wanna talk right now about the sign, or do you wanna wait a little bit, or
Madam Chair, I will do whatever you want,
Let's go
or
ahead.
wait.
let's go ahead.
All right.
Yeah.
So, when I first got here, I had set up a meeting with a professional organization that I met in another professional situation to discuss the ways that, this is the North Central Chamber of Commerce, to discuss ways that they could work with us in promoting our businesses and discussing ways that they could bring the things that they have, such as microloans and promotional opportunities, to us, to the community. Katie, in her capacity as vice chair of the select board, did attend with me. I'm very thankful for that, because they were able to put a name and a face and meet one of the main representatives of the community. And a number of things came out of that meeting, one being that they're willing to give us a massive sign. So,
I love it.
and it's big, like that's 95.5 inches wide, 84 inches tall.
And by the way, the ones that are existing that you see that we have out already, they're 33 by 60.
Oh, wow.
So that's quite a
Much
bit
bigger.
Yeah, so
bigger.
my 2 cents is, and I said it at the meeting, I would like it to mirror closely what we already have. So replacing the town seal with the apple, cause the town seal on a sign looks like crap,
Can't really
because
tell,
it's,
yeah.
you can't tell what it is, it's just gobbly
Yeah.
gook. And at least the apple, if we are consistent across the board, is my 2 cents. And
By the way, the apple was my idea.
yes, the apple was a good idea, that
It
was.
right there at the art
I
studio.
will need, if we're going that route and we end up voting to go that route, I'm gonna need a digital rendering of the apple. I'd like a mock-up of the sign, maybe something that Francois, if that, is that his name?
Franz
Franz.
Steiner,
You said a digital
Right.
apple?
Yeah.
rendering.
If we all vote on the apple, the gentleman from the chamber was fairly confident that he could get the emblem to work, but I don't want to kind of upset the apple cart.
Mm.
Ha
Yes.
ha.
And not have it match the other signs, because it was very generous of them to do, but I don't wanna change the aesthetic of what we're going for.
My other thing, aside from, well, we will take a vote on the apple as opposed to not, was my only other request, let's say, was that, you know, this looks like much shinier and brighter. I do want the greens to match the greens that we already have up there.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be like a fluorescent, you know,
Ha ha,
whatever.
ha ha,
Yeah.
look at that.
Digital, you got it?
Dun 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 dun. I pulled up the
Perfect.
old email. Great.
Perfect. Yeah, I have it printed out, actually.
Is the
But yeah,
apple on that one?
Yes.
Can I see it?
Oh, sorry,
This
scroll
Nonsuch
down.
Apple was started here.
Yeah,
Nonsuch
it's,
apple, yeah.
yeah, it's, I actually have 4 nonsuch apple trees
I
at
got
my
apples
house.
on
I
my
have one
property.
in my
I'm
yard,
only
I have
talking
one in
Nonsuch.
my yard,
I
they
have
don't
no
know.
idea.
or 2 in my yard.
It has a common name too. Do you remember what the other name of it?
No, I just, it's nonsuch. So, yeah.
And I don't know, did you, were,
It's much easier to see.
if you
So it's
were
like a subway.
members, when I had sent out, and I'll do that as well, is I had found a really beautiful sign. Our sponsorship originally was $2,500,
I think so
For
originally,
the
that was
cheap-
pre-COVID.
yeah, for the 2 largest trafficked,
Mhm.
and those were 68 on each side. The other ones were gonna be 1,500, I think. is
Yeah,
what we had
and then
said.
COVID hit
And so,
and it all
yeah.
went to hell.
And we really got, you know, 0 sponsorship. But I had gone to, New Hampshire and I had passed a sign from Troy, New Hampshire. It was a little bit different. It was very nice. I took a photograph of it. I contacted their Chamber of Commerce. They told me who did the signs for them. I brought it to our committee and everybody agreed, because they're also less expensive, that moving forward, if we were to get new signs, I mean, the 2 that we have right now, neither one of them have sponsorship, so does it make sense for us to purchase any more? But as that changes and we purchase them on the smaller, lesser trafficked roads, to have these other signs. And I'll send everybody a picture of those signs as well. I think it went to the planning board also. Alice had, no, it was ARPA. It was ARPA when I was asking them for money. But they did like the idea of the signs. Basically the same thing, except this hangs off a pole. So it's up, and then it would have a wrought iron
Yep.
kind of bracket, and then the sign would be much smaller hanging off it. Very appropriate for the lesser trafficked routes, I thought, and because they were less expensive, it would be a good idea. And our committee really liked them, so we voted on it, and so, but I'll send that to everybody.
Best Italian grinder I've ever had in my life, Troy, New Hampshire.
You hadn't been
No
to my
kidding.
grandma's house.
I have not been to your grandma's house, Whitney.
Troy, New Hampshire.
Now he's gonna wanna know where.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to go looking for that.
Right,
Yeah.
it's the Troy Deli. It's right there in the center, right on your way to Keene.
Like better than
Oh, yeah, on
the
your way to
Rainbow
Keene.
Fruit Company in Chelsea or Revere.
I've never been to Chelsea.
Well, see, now it's gonna be like a road trip,
Just have to
you
go
know?
to
Now
Or
I
if
have to drive
Wait,
all
Troy, New
around.
Hampshire Deli?
Grinders.
It's called Troy, New Hampshire Deli?
I believe so.
Okay.
No idea.
We stopped there because we were hungry.
See, that's part of the problem, so that's why it's, first of all,
You're
it's a
never
little better
supposed to go
than
to
it
the
probably
grocery store
was.
hungry or anything like
Yeah,
that.
whenever you're starving, like, this is the best food ever.
All right, back to the sign. I would like to point out that the gentleman from the chamber knew nothing of our sign when he designed this, just out of the kindness of his heart.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
he was not going to combat our current sign program or anything like that. This is just what he said to me, is kind of like, here, take a look at what I'd be willing to do. So,
And
it's
the only
not
thing that
so
they ask
far
from us
off
is that we
either.
maintain it, that we do the upkeep around it. And we'd already talked a couple of years ago when we first started with the signs, that we were even gonna have lighting, you know, directed,
Directed
uplight, you know, and
that.
uplit, and then also like some, you know, maybe flowers along the base of it or something like that.
Or something, yeah.
Yeah, but
Something.
of course, who does that fall on?
Probably me.
Yeah, no, so that's
Yeah,
why,
to plant them
that's
on
why I'm not offering you to
You
it.
kidding? I got every color daylily ever at my house.
All right.
Yeah.
There we go.
we have a semi-official flower lady.
Yes,
Yeah,
Who's
Yeah.
that?
Sanda.
Sandaberry.
Very
But that's in
neat.
the
Oh,
center
yeah.
of town. I don't know if we're gonna, if she's willing to trek out.
She did a nice job at Charles Clark Corner. I
Yeah.
love it. I love what they did there. Yeah, very nice.
And then, once we vote on Apple or logo, the other thing we're going to need to discuss, this is the most I've ever talked about a sign, like,
No.
is where,
We've gone
Right.
out.
is
trust me.
where we want it to go. Because we're, the third most trafficked location is New Templeton, and this would kind of not fit in on New Templeton because of its
It's
size.
huge.
Very back there.
Well, yeah, so the other thing,
Then 62 from Barry.
2 halvesies? Like,
Can we have 2?
Yeah, it's-
What's the first and second most traveled, 68 both ends.
68
Yeah,
both
68
ends, yeah.
by far.
Yeah.
And then there's the center of town, but we already have the electronic that says, you know, I always
Yeah.
have a welcome to Hubbardston on there. And at that point, you're already in the middle of Hubbardston, do you really need, like,
To be told
You're
something.
here.
Right.
like, we're not that small.
I don't know, you might miss it.
Well, we're not that small, it's not like Truro, Mass or something,
Wait, I'm trying
it's
to
like a
remember what's
post
on
office.
68 coming from Rutland, what sign is there?
Nothing, a little
Yeah, it is,
teeny
it's,
sign.
it's on the corner,
It's- yeah.
it's 62,
Right before you,
68.
right before Comet Pond and
Yep,
going down.
it's on the
hill.
hillside,
Okay.
it's there, trust me,
How
I,
permanent is it?
There's nothing on
It's
Berry,
permanent.
is there?
It's,
no,
it's.
that's the
Yeah.
next, so the next one after New Templeton, not by much, is coming from,
Barry,
Barry,
62.
62.
Yeah.
And there is, like, the dam right there and that field, I don't know who owns the field though, but there is a field right there.
We would
And-
have
and
to
that-
own, the town would have to own the property.
Yes.
yeah. But that route, that area would support, when I say support, aesthetically support a sign that big.
I mean, the
That
town
one.
does own so many feet in, but,
Are we thinking of, possibly like if we put that sign somewhere where our current sign is and move a smaller sign to a different
I think digging
area?
it up and whatever would just be,
Be too much of a pain?
and an expense that I don't think anyone would want us to incur.
It's more permanent than the DPW could do?
if we were going to do that, I'm gonna tell you right now, move the one down by 68. Because the D'Amelias own,
I know,
and they are the most, like, they would be the ones that are the most fine with, they're like, yeah, just put it on property, I don't care. So even though you own so much in, and that would be where, that's the 100% the most traffic coming from Gardner side. And then we could put that other one
well, then
somewhere
there is a
else,
little, I
right?
mean, isn't there a little bit of, kind of, you know, whatever the word is, that it's coming from Gardner, and here's the Gardner, you know, maybe they'd love to see their sign right there, you
But
know,
that's,
I don't know.
that would be I mean, it's not like it's that
It's
hard
not
to.
Gardner Chamber that's doing this, it's the chamber out of Fitchburg,
Gotcha,
the North Central Chamber, they
Oh, the Nor-
represent,
okay.
they represent like 100 communities.
Right.
So, I'm just saying if we were to move one, that would be the one I'm gonna tell you right now to move.
I feel like it's such a statement piece, you would want it somewhere where people are gonna see it the most, right?
Yeah.
And
but also, okay, this is what discussion is. These signs are meant also for our businesses to sponsor, to get
Portion.
sponsorship for their business, okay? And they'll miss that opportunity, so our businesses would miss the opportunity of having that high traffic. I just want us to take all of this into consideration, cause I think now we're
so
gonna
wait,
vote
say
on two
that
things.
one more time so that I understand?
That, well,
We
one of the
can
reasons
say
about it,
no.
see what's
Like,
underneath,
there's
where it
nothing
says
stopping
North
us from
Central and
saying,
all
hey,
that?
thanks, but no thanks.
See underneath the main sign?
Yeah.
Where it says North Central Massachusetts and all that, that's for sponsorship. So businesses come and they say, yeah, now our sponsorship is $500, so they come and we get a sign made for them with the name of their company, and that hangs on there for a year.
But we haven't sold one yet, so
We
those
have, we have one
We
sold.
would want Hubbardston
well, but I'm just
businesses.
saying, okay,
I
let
see.
me rephrase that.
We don't have any made
Yes.
and ready to go on.
And so,
Understood.
as of yet,
Right,
none have technically sold.
Right.
Because you can't take the money if you haven't done it. So it's not like they're beating down the door.
no, not at all.
You know what I mean?
Not at all.
So,
But do we wanna take away that high traffic, the most highly trafficked area? Do we wanna take that away from our business owners having the opportunity to sponsor that particular sign?
I see, so this one can only be sponsored by.
That's it, that's gonna be
Yeah,
forever and ever.
this thing is in the,
Yes.
it's gonna be above $5,000.
these aren't,
These aren't cheap and it's gonna be
So you see-
permanent in the ground.
hence
get what
the
I'm
reason.
saying?
I just
Christina?
assumed that those little things were like, this is where your businesses
No.
would put their signs.
No.
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 That one's gonna be, that's.
And that's
That's
why
what it's
it's
gonna
so big, because
Yeah.
there's so many across the bottom.
Yeah.
Because you can't,
I see.
but at the same time,
But they're not a not-for-profit, they're not for profits, they're a business organization that supports
Yeah.
business in our region. That's why they're doing this.
I see.
So it would be advertising to our small businesses that they could reach out
Instead
for
of
help.
for our small
Yeah.
businesses.
Yeah.
Mhm,
So it's
But Katie-
either
but
way,
Katie,
it's
there's
kinda,
also- I've also been committed to having you have your events there as well, okay? And so that's being missed, you know, we were gonna get a sign for each one of the events, field day, town, what is,
try Hubbardston Fair.
thank you.
That's okay.
Maybe I'm tired.
That's
Hubbardston
okay.
Fair, Dingy Dash and all that,
Yeah, I'm not worried about my stuff. though.
okay.
I
So-
I would rather, if it's a choice between my stuff and a business, I'd much rather a business.
Okay. So I guess we're gonna vote on two things tonight. We're gonna vote on Apple versus Seal, or the Incorporated, and are we gonna vote on, is it gonna go, are we gonna remove the one on 68 and put that one there?
I'd like to make a motion to use the Apple instead of the town seal.
Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Against?
You guys don't have to, don't go with, if you
No,
feel like there's
don't go with
something,
the flow,
don't
whatever
go
you-
with the flow.
I just have a question,
Yeah.
like, do we even have the power to change this Apple to a seal, or the Apple?
Well, we're not changing the seal.
No,
We're
that's,
not
the
doing anything
seal
with
is the seal, we're just
Oh,
not using the
Okay, I
seal.
see, okay.
Yeah.
So where
We would
you've
use
got
the Apple like the other one.
Gotcha.
where you've got the arch there, rather than having the seal, you put the apple there.
So the
We felt
reason,
that
the
the
reason,
seal would be difficult to read.
Yeah.
well, it was.
I
We
see.
had it on that
That's right.
sign that used to be where the electronic sign was, that had the little letters that I had to go manually put in. And you couldn't read the seal, it just looked like a blob, because
Yeah.
that's, we have so much detail and ornate stuff on our seal that that's what it looks like, it turns into a blob unless you have it much larger in your face.
Mhm.
It's a blob.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that's why we chose to go with
Crash.
the Apple, because at least it was clean,
Yeah,
it's something that we're known for.
and we
It's-
and also
yeah.
something that we really need to kind of even build up more and more in the town, in marketing the town.
Yeah.
And use it as a moniker.
And they are on the seal as well,
Mhm.
you know, it's not like,
Correct.
so it's, we're trying to stick with our roots, we're a farming, you know, town, it's,
Yeah. And what about,
I wanna make a motion to move the Gardner one, if that's going anywhere that size, that's gonna go on the Gardner end on 68. Cause I just can't see that going, that is too big to go on a back road.
I agree.
I think it would be obnoxious.
Yeah.
I think it would have to be subject to, land permissions and stuff.
Exactly, and
I'm wondering
signing,
about
you know,
that too.
like, I know the town, we can do what we want as a sign bylaw, but that, like, as a resident, if our other two main corridors are much more subdued, and then this thing is 3 times the size on a back road, I would
That's gonna
just be
get
like, that's
criticism.
obnoxious, you know, like,
Yeah.
I would, I'm sorry,
And
I would.
ultimately, all we have the authority to do is just make a recommendation to the select board anyways. It's not like we can make a binding decision on it. Cause if we could, I think we should put like a mountain lion in the seal.
Stop it.
Katie, do we need, you have a relationship with them, is this something that we need to discuss with, Debbie and, Little Toes? Big Toes? Big Toes?
Meg and John,
Jeez
Meg and John,
Louise.
that's okay.
Little
Meg-
toes.
Little tiny toes, little toes.
That's like, that's an
Big-
That's
awesome
tiny toes,
I
little
don't know
toes.
Tiny
where,
Toes Little
is it
Toes.
right in front of their new location for?
No,
Little?
it's in front of their actual
Their
house.
house,
Yeah.
I didn't
Their,
realize
their
they were
house
right
is
on
way
68.
up on the hill, behind the horse barns and the horses are in
Oh,
front.
okay, yep.
That long driveway that goes up, that goes to their actual
Do
house.
we own any of the land near the giant chicken? Cause there's already a giant chicken there.
No, they're not, the giant
No,
chicken is
you're
on the
thinking
corner of
about-
High Street,
You're
and Ragged Hill.
Country
and-
Yeah,
Trail
further
is
up.
what you're thinking about.
Yes, further up.
That's like almost in the center of town,
Mhm.
I guess,
so.
That's
no,
an
we do not
interesting
own that.
place for it, though.
Mhm.
That's you're already in the
I
center.
know, but it is, but it is a really nice.
That's actually the commercial district, like,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the center of town. You're
But
already
it
there.
is, it's nice in that it's very cleared out, you know, it's an intersection, if you will, you've got Ragged Hill, High Street, and 68, and it is kind of like a, you know, clean slate, so to speak, but if you, well, maybe we could vote on it, pursuant to them agreeing that they would allow us to put a sign that size on their property.
I think it has to be on town property. Let me read to you all of the.
His concern was, the chamber there, the North Central, they were concerned about that
He said,
in the email.
Well, the 68, you own so many.
Okay.
I'd also like to point out for the record that I'm not trying to step on anyone's toes and just presenting things that have
Sure.
been presented to me in my capacity as Hubbardston Town Administrator.
Yeah.
I have no outside interest in signs.
Sure.
And he, and Nate contacted Katie and I right away about it, and we put in our
Yeah.
opinions about it.
Well, I was sitting in the room putting my opinions in
Oh,
to
that's
the
true, I'm
guy.
sorry, I only got it by
Yeah.
email.
Well, no, I just, yeah, no, but you did right away, you know, it's, yeah.
He said, "Good talking to you earlier this month. I wanted to follow up on our offer to sponsor a welcome to the sign for the town. I have attached a proof of what the sign would look like. The sign company used green to match the colors on the website, but the color could be changed to whatever color the town prefers. The sign would be made of composite material for durability and longevity. It would be carved with the town seal, period. Per our offer, the chamber would sponsor the sign and take care of construction. We would need to know what color you want the sign and to identify where the town would like it placed and to maintain the sign long-term. In terms of location, it just needs to be a gateway location and needs to be town-owned land, preferably a grassy area on the side of the road. It cannot be located too close to state highway controlled property, as that would complicate the project and require a DOT permit and really increase construction costs beyond our budget. Let me know if the town wants to take advantage of this offer."
Then 0.
What was that last part?
0.
Not,
There's no
Yeah.
spot that is
Yeah.
There's no
town-owned
place
land
that's
in a
in-
gateway area that, no, there's 0 spot.
the spot
And-
where the
and-
one going towards Gardner is
So-
not?
That's not a
And it
grassy
sounds like
spot,
it- like
that's
he's-
town-owned,
Like he's saying
It's
that
not town-owned.
well,
there would be
to a certain extent.
pushback, let's say, on their end. I mean, isn't it on our end? You know, I mean, if we didn't have something that said it has to be, you know, so many feet back or whatever, wouldn't that supersede what, I don't know.
Yeah,
Well,
and
hold on, define owned, because owned is not really an accurate legal term.
yeah, I
Like,
don't
what
think
if the town just had a 25-year lease for $1 on the spot where the
that
sign
would be, I'm sure he is not speaking in legal definitions of the word owned
Yeah,
in this email.
so something like that, and maybe that works. Just whatever the expected life of the sign is, see if there's someone who's willing to do $1 lease for
Yeah.
the ground plot.
Because I know Leominster has theirs next to that giant flag as you come in and you can take the right going to Home Depot. Westminster has theirs in the complete center in like a garden bed in the middle of the road
Near Abishan.
near Aubuchon Hardware. Those are the only two I've ever seen, so.
Mhm.
I still say the side of 68
I
where
feel like I wanna go look at that location,
that
cause
one.
I don't, I have
Cause
a
it's
good
kind
picture
of,
it
so
in my head.
the thing was Ryan had Franz put it a little cockeyed.
Yeah,
And the reason was, so that way you wouldn't see the back of it when you were driving out.
because we only did one side
And
on
I
signs.
was like, well, that's kinda stupid, but whatever, you know, you do you. And I still think it's kinda stupid being that cockeyed. I don't, who cares if you see the backside of it? That's my personal 2 cents. It's a sign. You're gonna see the backside, cause I feel like it's
Either
just,
way.
it's like a little cockeye would be fine, that's like a lot. But that's my personal 2 cents. But yeah, I don't see why it couldn't go there, cause the tree line is so far back.
Well, we have to ask them.
Well, obviously, yes,
I
we
don't
have to
think
ask
they're
them.
gonna fight pretty much anything. That was just him
Okay.
just describing it, like,
Okay.
What was the last part of it though? It said not near a
not too close to a state highway.
state highway.
Are they also open to changing the seal to an apple?
He said he would do what we want.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he's trying to get this done so that he can move forward and use his budget to offer
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
to offer other towns things. I think that's the whole point of this, like, one line item of their budget is to promote within communities while trying to be helpful in different ways.
So do you think the DPW could move the sign?
I don't like to speak for the
Yeah, I know.
DPW.
Travis is gonna love us.
Yeah.
No, he won't.
I know.
It's something we can talk about
I know it's in their capabilities, it's.
in their
Well, I
capabilities.
think we should vote on it so that if they need an answer from you, you can at least tell them that we voted on it to agree, to put it at that location. But, but pursuant to what Travis says, what Tiny Toes, a bit, whatever.
Yeah.
Well,
Ribbons.
all of those are select board level issues, so we could just leave it at recommend, that the motion is to recommend to the select board the acceptance of the sign and the placement at a location on the north side of 68, subject to.
Grassy area.
Yeah, subject to the ability to obtain a suitable location.
Okay. Like he said.
Does that sound like what your motion was?
Yes.
Basically, yeah, like it doesn't, if all the pieces fall apart in
Right.
place, that would make the most sense.
But I
you
do
know?
want Nate to be able to tell him that we are actively,
Yes.
Yeah.
pursuing getting an answer and like that.
I'll
okay?
second that motion.
I wanted to avoid
Should've
this
just-
conversation so much that I didn't say anything about it for 2 months.
Touche.
It's easier to have it now while they're redoing, like cause they're gonna redo that whole 62. So if something is to be moved over there,
Mhm.
Travis can do it at the end, and then that way there's gonna be no real construction for a long period of time to upheave anything.
Yeah.
And we just had the construction on 68,
Because the ground
so-
won't be frozen for many, many, many months.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it takes to build one of these signs. Ours took quite a bit of time, not terrible, but, probably 2 months.
But yeah, 68's already been done, 62's getting done, so this is
Yeah.
a good time to put
Okay.
things in place and.
But I definitely don't wanna pull the one out that's existing until this other one
Oh, yeah,
is
no,
ready to go in the
yeah,
ground.
yeah.
Yeah,
So it
okay.
can get swapped later.
To muddy this up even more,
Oh, yay.
the other font is white.
It's,
Not yellow?
it's bone,
Yeah,
The other font is bone.
bone.
Yeah. bone or ivory.
I think we went with bone.
I'll get all of the specifics from Franz, I'll get all the
I
information.
emailed the email that I sent it to you and him for that
Thank
one
you.
that I just pulled up with the pictures.
Is the
Okay.
border line also bone, or is it?
No, it's
yellow?
all green.
Yeah.
Everything
So
else
there's
is
no
green.
border line?
No,
There's a
border.
red silhouette of the apple and everything else was bone, cause we didn't like the white, it was
Too stark.
Yes.
And we picked a green that was more like a heritage green, if you'll notice it, which is, again, what I'd like them to do as
Oh,
well.
and absolutely,
Yeah.
he picked that green just.
Well, sure,
Yeah.
there's a,
Like,
yeah,
we can, as I said, what I'll need is a good image of the apple and the picture that Katie has already sent,
Good.
cause
Yeah.
I'm sure the sign guy is a very professional sign guy.
oh, heck yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I think the bone and that, that kind of, not faded, but it's just a very matte heritage, they call it
Yeah.
heritage, Americana green,
Yeah.
it's perfect. And I like it, it's simple.
Yeah, I think the bone
Yeah.
color would be nicer.
Pretty sure it was bone. It's like,
Bone or ivory, off-white,
it's all
taupe,
fancy.
matte.
I know, he came up with, he had like all these kind of like,
Forget it.
I'm like, they're all tan. Different shades of tan.
Okay, so Christopher, can you do that motion again, please?
Well, it was Katie's
The verbiage.
motion.
It was my motion to recommend to the select board that if all the pieces fall into parts, then we move forward with that one sign, as long as it's a suitable location and the other sign can be moved and,
Okay.
yeah.
And by the way, where shall we move that sign to?
New Templeton.
Are we gonna go with New Templeton? I'm fine with New Templeton, we do 62, I don't really care. New Templeton has more things, so, if we're gonna
New
keep those.
Templeton,
3,773
73.
people a day.
yeah,
Mhm,
okay, so the existing sign to be moved to New Templeton location.
mhm.
And then that will leave us 2 locations for the smaller signs, 62 and New Westminster Road.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Second, motion, please, can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous, thank you. Existing moves.
Can I clarify, was our first motion on the,
Changing the Apple,
that was unanimous as well?
correct, yep. To the Templeton, right, okay, terrific. Okay, any other comments?
Can we vote on the recommendation of gold versus bone?
No, seriously?
I'd like to make a recommendation that we stick with the same color format
Thank
as
you.
is already there.
As existing,
Alright.
thank you. Second motion,
Seconded.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Unanimous, unanimous.
Guys are
I
those
really don't
people
wanna
that-
make a recommendation about bone, I really just don't, sorry.
You guys are those people that ask for substitutions when the menu says
Yeah.
no substitutions.
Yeah, yeah, but can't I, but how about just, but don't you have tomatoes for sandwiches?
Yeah.
Okay, next on our agenda is the management and administration of shared drives. Christopher, just wondering, like with the example of Michael, okay? One of us could have helped with that rather than leaving it to you. Regina, like the way I volunteer people, Regina seems very comfortable with the drives. Is that something that we can maybe explore?
So I think you need to have a town email address, so Katie would be able to, I would be
Okay.
able to.
I would be able to.
Oh, that makes sense,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Because to be able to set up a shared drive and
Okay.
be an owner of it, you have to be on the IT system.
You don't want any more stuff to do, do you?
No, I don't.
No,
Nope.
she doesn't,
Nope.
okay.
Nope.
Well, then I'll just keep hounding you when I need to.
Well, everybody should be on it, except for Michael, who for some reason, he apparently doesn't have a Google account linked to it.
Right,
So it keeps bouncing back saying that it can't,
okay.
it can't go.
Did you read the email where I asked you to remove Peter and Cheryl?
Yeah, they should be removed.
Okay. Yesterday they weren't, no, they weren't. When he pulled it up today, it said 11 members.
Does it, so.
I know Peter, I flipped to a view only,
Oh,
because he's
well,
on-
maybe then that's why it just says 11, why it still says 11 members. Are you looking at it, Nate?
I am.
Cause he's on the town IT system, because he's
Yeah.
on the select boards.
I'm not so much worried about him.
And you're the current owner, is that?
No, he is.
Oh, you are.
Wish our density was cozy instead of comfortable.
What?
I don't care.
Okay, what are we talking about?
And go up to the, yeah. And then just 11 people.
Me,
Cheryl's still, oh, and Cheryl's a viewer, just,
Big
can
Pet
you remove her from
Elms
viewer? Is
is
there a way to
a
remove her from
She's
that too?
supposed to be off,
Please,
Cheryl.
thank you.
Cheryl.
Yeah.
Only managers can change the member permissions.
Peter, Christopher's gonna do that now first.
Cutest email ever, family.tatro@gmail.com.
Can we take my school one off of there and just have my personal one on?
Yes.
Isn't this fun?
So, which one is the one that you wanna take off?
The QRSD.
Yeah.
Take off QRSD?
Yeah. It's one that I check more often, but I'll get better about that.
Just gotta put
Yeah,
everything on
everybody
your phone.
remember to just
I
start
do
checking
have
in
those,
on this.
but I'll put
the
it
I
all
still
in
like to
email
ignore my
folders,
personal email.
I know,
All
well, I
right,
got like
so
12 different email
It's
accounts.
just the thing that all of the spam goes to.
Yeah. No, I have one that specifically for spam.
for
If I,
spam. I know, I have an old
if I
Hotmail
give
address.
you,
That's so smart.
if I give you this one, it's so obnoxious, you know
You
it's,
know you-
you're going right in the
spam
junk.
box.
I have an
Because it
obnoxious
says
one just
Katie
for
Young,
that.
12.
No, no, it is not, it is so obnoxious.
Nathan just got promoted to a manager,
There you go.
and Cheryl needs to come off?
Yes.
my junk email, just says old Gmail.
Oh,
So I'll give you if you're.
yeah. I got Girl Scouts, I got all kinds of scholarship committee one, I get all this stuff, yeah, yeah. And it's fun too, cause I always get people that knew me from a different point,
Right.
so they'll
Change.
email me with a
Thank you.
different email for
Yeah.
something official, I'll be like, alright, send
Send
to
it to
this
this
one.
one.
Okay, I'm,
I send things
Yeah,
to
yeah.
myself.
Yeah,
To different emails.
yeah.
all right, we got that done. I think I might skip over, Christopher, I want an update from you this evening, that's important, okay? And then talk about our, the input for the
Oh,
different
sorry.
towns and that kind of thing. So I think I wanna skip one or two, cause we're already an hour into it. A lot of people have kids, it's probably getting close to dinner time. So we'll skip the co-op advertising, marketing with other websites, put it on another agenda. Christopher, why don't you go first, and then we'll go through the,
Yeah, so there's not currently a ton to report back on MRPC at the moment. They are actively working on the agricultural, agritourism overlay. There was an AAC meeting originally scheduled for tomorrow night, but not everything is gonna be together in time, so I'm gonna be sending out an email soon suggesting to reschedule that to before the next planning board meeting on Wednesday.
that's for the next ad hoc meeting?
Yeah,
Okay.
and we're expecting that that likely both Karen and who's the other person?
Her associate Tyler.
Tyler would be attending that because they've
Oh,
been
good.
working on drafting it together. And that they would be giving the AAC a substantive update then.
Okay,
So that will, the next step after that is they'll receive the feedback, they'll go back, they'll make adjustments, and then there's supposed to be, I believe, a public meeting, a public information gathering session for the second meeting. And then after that, there'll be revisions, and then that'll get referred back to the EDC and the planning board.
okay,
So, who knows, that could be ready for a fall meeting.
That'd be
Wow.
nice.
wow.
That would be nice.
I know,
Long time coming.
last night at a open space advisory meeting, that actually came up as a pretty popular topic.
I'm not
So,
surprised.
So these are all of the, can't really see that. This is the plan for,
The tasks, the task lists and all, yeah. Is that in the drive?
I can put it in the drive.
Did you put it in the drive, Christopher?
It wasn't final, the last copy I had wasn't signed, so I didn't put it in there
Okay. Are you gonna do that?
yet. Yeah,
Okay.
Nick
Or
will
somebody
see.
will? Okay, good.
Drop it in right there.
Yeah, I can drop
Okay.
in the DLTA contract.
No, I just sent it to your town administrator. Admin at Hubbardston.
But yeah, so we're actually on track for the timetable for it.
Maybe. It says
We're not
sent.
gonna get that meeting in April, but schedules happen. Chasing around a lot of volunteers on that.
Wait a minute, does everybody here have the, ad hoc, folder?
That one, no, it's
No.
only to members of the committees and
Right.
chairs of the boards.
Yeah, okay.
Going back real quick, not to take, do you guys know what we're talking about?
Like
That's a good question.
vaguely, I remember we talked about it
So
back in
the-
February, but I could use an update.
The DLTA contract that we're talking about is a direct local technical assistance grant through a partner of the towns, MRPC, the Montechusett Regional Planning Commission. They are our planning commission because some government rule makes them be. And it's like just being completely honest. And so they work with the town and many other towns to help with things that we may not have the capacity to research or write or do or look into.
They're called technical assistants.
Yeah,
Technical assistants.
technically assisting.
Right.
And so right now, we are working with them on a project that would change the bylaws regarding tourism agricultural tourism and economic tourism, because one of the goals of the select board, the planning board, and across the board is to use what is Hubbardston's natural beauty, open space, recreational opportunities to increase economic development. So, but that's what we're talking about.
But one of the things that wasn't mentioned is that it originated as a way to assist our farms to be able to have businesses that would be supplemental businesses for their property, okay? That was my original thought, in 2018, was how do we help the farms? And I just didn't want that to not be said, because you talked about, tourism and all that, but it is also to help the existing farms be able to have different, whether they wanna have a wedding on their property or a vendor event, anything like that. So we wanna, be able to, it's definitely expanded from my original thought, there's no doubt about it, but that's very much part of it.
Yeah, the expansion happened when I went to the committee, because we looked at what some other towns do, what the state guidelines are. And what Rutland specifically did, which is kind of the model we're following,
Yeah.
is that they made agricultural accessory uses permissible, essentially by right. But the problem that comes up with that is for something to be an accessory use, it has to make less money than the farming use. And we're in a position where we don't have the same kind of large commercial farms, where we have mostly people who are running lifestyle or gentleman farms, or they're running farms as a retirement project. They're not large commercial enterprises. So if you take, say, if someone's selling hay and they're making 12 grand a year doing that, that means the accessory use has to be smaller than 12 grand, even if it doesn't affect the character use of the land. And the feedback we got from the committee was, well, that's not really helping us.
Right.
Like, if all you're doing is making it so we can make like an extra $2,000-3,000 a year or something like that, that's not really helping anybody in any meaningful way, where it's gonna prevent them selling their land off to have it developed and turned into houses. So, the pushback, or not just pushback, the guidance we got back from the committee was, you really need to expand this, and it can't just be agricultural accessory uses. You have to look at other available uses, and you have to do it in a way where you're talking about like the character and usage of the land, and not just about a raw dollar amount in comparison to what the farm income is. So, that was how that all
And
got
at one
changed.
time, didn't we also talk about, because we were opposed to, that, the income had to be less than the farm itself? Wasn't there a way to do it by, not square footage, but percentage of the property?
No one's done it yet, we're inventing that, that's why we needed the technical assistance.
Gotcha, okay. That's a better way to approach it, and I
Yep.
think it'll be a model for other towns as well, which will
Can
be
you say that
great.
again, not by the square foot?
No, I mean, by the, like 20% of the land, if it's 100 acres, you could use, whatever the determination is. But rather than do it by, the money that you would make, the profits that you would make for the secondary business, if you wanna call it that, you would base it upon, available.
Percentage of land.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I think it also turned out that there was maybe 2 farms in town that were actually filing Schedule Fs. And that was also something that was a
Yeah.
determining factor. So Schedule F being the tax form that you file for farm income.
And that's what really determines that you're a farm. I mean, there are laws, like we have to be 5 acres and that kind of thing, but you can be 5 acres, if you're not filing as farm, you're not farm. That's what it comes down to.
Well, one of the things that came up in the conversation is that you could have a garlic farm, and it could be a half acre, and it could be more profitable than a much larger farm. So, that's kind of what led us to what we're looking at. And then we're also thinking, okay, well, if you have a garlic farm and it's 1 acre and you're in a tightly packed area, like, should you be able to run like special events?
I know.
Probably not.
I know.
So, that's why we ran into issues where we needed support with it.
And while I thought it was pretty, 5 acres here in town, I've looked at other areas as well.
Yeah.
And this is really not a lot. I mean, there are some places it's 7 acres. You have to have a minimum of 7 acres, 9 acres.
The 5 acre didn't work,
No.
because we ran specific examples
Mhm.
based upon farm properties, and specifically based upon the vineyard, which was 4.92 acres.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
just doing on straight acreage didn't make sense, so that's why we really needed help with trying to figure something out.
Are we gonna reduce that 5 to something else?
I have no idea what we're gonna do, but the consultants are gonna recommend something.
I mean, we have lost a farm because they were not
Too
able to
small.
declare themselves farm and get all the advantages of it, and that was up my block,
The what?
Friendly Ass.
Oh, well, yeah,
Oh,
they,
that's part of why they moved.
yeah.
Oh,
Well,
definitely, definitely. I mean,
They moved they got a bigger property.
well, they did, but they weren't looking until they realized that, because don't forget, they were actually looking into buying the property that had been proposed to be a shortcut into the rec field from High Street.
Dolores's,
Okay,
yeah.
Dolores's property. And I believe that had they been able to, I mean, you know, close with them, had they been able to get all the benefits, they probably would have just stayed. I mean, they very much consider themselves here a part of this town still. They miss it a lot. But, you know, we don't want that to happen with anyone else either, you know? Okay.
And then I guess as to the town center project, we're waiting to hear back on some recommendations on how to move forward with that, with MRPC. Karen was taking some time to think about it.
Really?
But you did say that she was gonna stand behind that project and help us out with it.
Okay, good. Okay. Yeah, that's gonna be big.
Finishing the master plan is in the same kind of limbo period, but they have promised that we will be done the master plan that the town of Hubbardston has been working on since 2017.
I think before that. I think it
In
was like
June of this year.
I think it was due in 2017.
That will be quite an
Christopher, let me ask you,
accomplishment.
are you saying that, so are you talking about
Almost
the
time to write
commercial
another
district
one.
area? Are you
Yeah.
about that? Okay. So is AAC kind of taking a priority right now?
Yeah, it would be fair to say that, that the agricultural one
Yeah.
is, and that the town master plan is that, because they only have so much bandwidth.
Yeah.
We probably actually should have that conversation more formally instead of just assuming
Mhm.
that those two are getting prioritized. But I think it does make sense to
Those are the two that have active kind of deadlines and action items
Yeah.
attached to them, whereas the other one is, hey, we'll get to this and we're gonna do it.
Yeah, and it's also, we need some wins, and the
Yes.
agricultural,
Yes.
agro-tourism package.
Will appeal
is-
to many more people. There will be a greater attendance, let's say, and all of that based on that. So
Yep.
where do we go with our commercial district overlay? Do we want to pursue right now creating a survey and that kind of thing, or do we wanna hold off on that and maybe concentrate on other things, and maybe individually, although some of the people here are not on this ad hoc committee, maybe we can find ways to assist.
Well, I don't think the town center rezone should get lost,
Mhm.
because I think there are some small changes we could make there that would be really pretty meaningful.
Mhm.
And even if we don't do some of the other design stuff, which, some of it I've come around, and I think we should do some, not all,
Right,
some
right.
of the design stuff, very limited. But some meaningful things that I think we can do relatively easy, we can revise our use list, or at least the EDC can work on recommending to the planning board, a revised use schedule for the downtown area.
Okay.
And, that'd be pretty helpful, because frankly, there's only so much time I have in the day, so there's only so much I can manage for projects, so if other
Okay.
folks in the EDC could help out with that, that would be huge. So in my mind, if we could revise the use list, and we could also propose expanding the town center zone to match what's going on with the construction project,
Mhm.
so that everywhere where there's sidewalk, it now becomes part of the town center zone.
Okay.
And I know that that is gonna gobble up some of our commercial district, and that there actually are some commercial uses that are currently in there, but those can be grandfathered in.
Okay.
So it doesn't it's not gonna matter that they're non-conforming uses.
Okay.
It just means when those people are done doing what they're doing, the new uses are most likely gonna end up having to be conforming.
Okay.
So it's about what we want things to look like in 15, 20 years.
Right.
And in 15, 20 years, we should have businesses along those sidewalks that people care about going to.
Excellent.
So if we could get those two
Okay.
things in motion, I think we can kick some of the other stuff down the road.
That's what we'll do
And
then.
From a draftsmanship standpoint, those are easy things to draft.
Okay.
Where I think there's a lot of work is we need to engage the community more about it, because we don't want that to be a surprise at a town meeting. We should do a survey, just to get people talking about and people engaged, and then maybe do a public listening session where we don't even necessarily say anything, we just all show up, put the timer on the table, and just anyone who wants to talk about it or anything related to it, they get 3 minutes to just
Okay.
run. And just do it as a listening session,
Okay. and
just give the public an opportunity to digest it, and also give us an opportunity to find out if there's gonna be any opposition to it.
Right.
Cause who knows? I think as long as we are judicious with what we do with usage changes, I don't think people are gonna be concerned. In some of my discussions with constituents, I've been surprised at what people have been concerned about. Like, there were a few people I've talked to where I suggested that maybe we don't wanna have cannabis grows in our town center district. They're like, no, we should. So I was frankly surprised by that, but maybe a cannabis shop would be one thing, but I don't think a cannabis grow should be in the downtown district. Just based upon the
Sure
issues
do.
that are possible.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's kind of what I see as what's possible and what I think the EDC could do to help that along. And if the EDC could take on putting together that survey and those listening sessions to take a little bit of load off the planning board on that,
Okay.
then this would be something that maybe even could be ready for a fall meeting, if there was a special fall meeting.
Oh,
Which there will be because
There
of
will
the
be,
school.
for sure. Katie, will you
Yeah.
work with me a little bit on the uses?
I can work with you.
And then when I get a better grasp of it, I'll share it with everybody, and we'll get everybody involved in that survey and creating and helping the planning board move ahead with this.
That wouldn't even be a bad idea in a variety of ways, having the EDC serve as kind of like the marketing and social and people arm of some of the work that's happening
I agree.
during the day and whenever Chris has the time.
Right,
So,
Yeah.
like, I
right.
think that would be a very, very valuable asset to
Okay.
have in
Okay.
a public entity.
Okay.
And there's that is frankly exactly where I'm going with it. Mostly because there is only so much time and so many cycles I have. And I'm perfectly happy to help out and participate with it, but I don't have the bandwidth to take the
Of
lead
course.
on it at the
Yeah, yeah.
moment. And there's a good chance that I'm gonna have more involvement with MRPC over the next few months.
You mentioned that when the
Which-
four of us got together.
Yeah, which it's still something that's up in the air, but there's a good chance that happens, and if it does, it's gonna reduce a little bit of my time for projects like that. But I do think it's gonna help the town out an awful lot in the
Yeah.
long run, so being able to show the load across more people
Okay,
would be very
you
helpful.
got it.
And that's
We're
also
in.
kind of easier topics and projects to get new people involved
Totally
in,
agree.
to
That's
learn
exciting.
about kind of what's
Yes.
going on.
And then also, as we present it to the residents as well, it's not quite as overwhelming as what that in totality would be with the overlay, okay? And just, little by little, and a lot of visualization and that kind of thing, I think it'd be great.
Yeah,
Sometimes all it takes is hearing it from someone that's not the town administrator or a select board member
Oh, you
or
bet.
the same person that's been kind of harping on.
Absolutely, yep,
So what's starting here in my mind is really pretty special, because I don't know if you've looked around, but this is the youngest board or committee by average age by about 25 years.
What is?
The
EDC?
This, the EDC's
EDC?
average age is about 20 to 25 years younger than all of the other boards or committees. And I think that's a fantastic thing, because the people who should be having input into the long-term future of the town are the people who are gonna be dealing with it for the next 30 to
Totally.
40 years.
And that was why I was
So-
really excited, was because so many of our new members have children, so they're looking way past 2 years, they're looking 15 years and 20 years. Their kids have to get through school, and they have to, maybe they'll remain here and that kind of thing, so I like that there's a longer vision, time-wise, so, good,
Well, not to mention it's fresh ideas too.
of course.
I've heard so many stuck, like, over the years, boards just
Nuh-uh.
like stuck. I'm like, what are we doing? Just regurgitating the same stuff, and it's like,
Definitely.
there's no new input,
Right.
no new ideas, and I have been on boards and committees that I've sat there and I've said something, and it's like, I'm like out there in left field. I'm like, dude, I'm a townie, don't even, no,
Yeah.
just, it's
Yeah.
okay, we can think of something new, it's okay.
Yeah,
So, not that they are now, a lot of boards have changed over.
sure,
So we do have a lot of new ideas coming in, but it is nice to see actual, like, new people that don't sit on any of the boards yet.
and progress scares people, some people, it really does, doesn't matter how, the benefits of, they just, And again, our largest demographic here are senior citizens.
Mhm.
It's the largest demographic we have in town.
So,
And Nate and I just talked I'll just say this real fast, Nate and I talked very briefly the other day, we were just mentioning something about seniors, and I said, they might be old, but they are mighty. In this town, they just pack a punch. And they're like a pit bull. So,
that's what happens when only 220 people show up to election on the
yeah,
state
no
average.
kidding.
To make sure we have an action item out of what we just talked
Yeah.
about, though, I would suggest that maybe 2 people take on creating a draft of a survey about allowable uses, and also, just come up with, and I can help with this, so, come up with a list of potential uses to bring in. So I guess just look at some other towns, be like, well, what would be nice to have downtown? Well, nice to have a coffee shop, maybe a microbrewery.
Mhm.
There's some spots where I think you can put in a system that could allow that, a septic system. So, some stuff like that, just so we can come back to the next meeting and
Even like a chiropractor, like,
keep the ball moving.
We had that
Anything.
opportunity, and
I know we had
my
that
doctor to
opportunity, we've had a
Westminster.
lot of opportunities.
That's, yeah.
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 You said a list of
beer, a
Some-
book, and a bagel.
Yes,
Yeah.
you and your beer, book, and bagel.
I know, I appreciate
Yeah.
I mean, it's not wrong.
Yeah.
No, it's great.
It's not the whole
A
stuff.
draft is good for allowable uses. To
And then there was
draft-
a list of
Oh,
ideas for
yeah.
use, okay.
Yeah, and ultimately, I think at the next meeting, we all just have to be prepared to start talking about proposed uses.
Yeah.
Because I think what the discussion's gonna have to be at the next meeting is, we're gonna have to finalize the survey to have it be ready to go out, which means we're gonna need to know what allowable uses we're considering. Because essentially, we wanna go out and just ask people what they would support off of the checklist.
Mhm.
Kind of a little bit like what,
Our BFF there sent out, what's her face?
Jennifer.
Jennifer.
Yeah, a little bit like what
Yeah.
Jennifer put together, but
What
not
was
done in the same way where it was kind of an afterthought, like where it's the primary purpose of the survey.
Right.
Cause when the style preference survey went out, you didn't get to some of the allowable uses until you got to pretty much the end of it.
Yeah.
And
Right.
after looking at stretch code and design standards and
Yeah,
all of
you
that stuff,
were, like,
people
lost.
didn't
Yeah.
care
Yeah.
anymore, so
Yeah.
I don't think we got back good data from that.
Right. I just looked at the calendar, and in fact, our next meeting is 2 days before our meet and greet.
Mhm.
So if we could have something prepared by our next meeting, we could be able to talk to some of our businesses about that, get them engaged, hope, and maybe include them in a survey. What do you think?
Yeah,
Like
well,
have a survey at the meet and greet.
Yeah, maybe.
well, we would also want them to be ambassadors for the survey.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So am I understanding correctly that that the survey is going to be created out of this list of allowable uses, so they're not, they're just kind of picking and choosing from this list?
Yeah, the surveys are typically, multiple choice, right? You could, like, to choose three or four. Otherwise, boy, it would just be so yeah, we have to come up with those ideas for allowable uses, and then we present it to them. And it could be.
What if we did like a shared Google Doc that we could kind of add our ideas to?
We can't because of the public meeting laws. It would be a non-public deliberation. So that's why it has to be done by a group of us that aren't a quorum. We can,
What?
Are not a quorum.
yeah,
So we can't have more than 3 of us meet at any given point in time. If we have
Correct.
4 of us together, that is technically a quorum.
And it has to
Even
be,
if it
and it
is
has to be,
occurring on
and it
Google
has to be
Doc.
made
even if
public.
it is incurring within
It
a
needs to be
Google
made
document.
public, and it needs to be an invitation to the public to attend.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
has to be posted.
Attend on
There's-
our Google Doc?
Yeah,
There's
so this is
some
why,
narrow
Sure.
exceptions, but.
Yes, welcome to
this
municipality.
is why even on
Well,
our
and the
business
integration of
tours, why
technology
I've
into
said,
municipalities,
cause
yeah,
Katie
that's
and
a
I have
fascinating
been
thing.
doing the tours,
Yeah.
but I've said, if another person would like to join us, that's fine, but we can't have more than one, and you could rotate
I
it
remember
out.
that.
And that's, like,
Remember?
if someone wants to take my spot, I'm
Yeah.
fine with somebody
Yeah.
else going, but
Start
yeah,
doing
we can
tours on
only have
weekends,
3
or
of us.
summer. I can do
Well,
summer.
I feel
Yeah.
like John would be really good on the allowable uses list formation, cause he's always like, we should put this here, what about an ice cream shop here, what about?
You just got
I
voluntold.
guess so.
Yes, you did.
I'm used to it.
Yeah, well, let's do that, Katie. Let's sit down with John or whoever's
That's
gonna be, yeah, let's do that, like in the next
Yeah.
next
And-
week.
And I can just
Next
send you
week.
publicly available work that the planning board's already done, so you can use that as a seed and that won't violate public meeting laws.
Okay.
There you go. Sounds like a plan.
And maybe we want to pick 1 or 2 towns to visit also and see what they're doing.
Whitney always loves a road trip.
I love a road trip, I don't know why. I'm a very visual person, very visual.
It's okay, I got a brand new car now,
Take all
so
that, she does.
No,
She
it's
does.
good, cause we do the same thing when we're driving, like,
Yeah.
this would be so nice in
Yeah.
Hubbardston. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Oh, I take pictures, I
This
send
is
them to her every now and
Wellesley's.
again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
But the public meeting laws are why something that is simple like this
Yeah.
takes 6 months. Because
Sure.
this is something that's like, oh, well, we could hammer that out over a weekend on a spreadsheet. Well, yeah,
But you can't.
but we can,
mhm.
so.
That's why the Lions Club was like Ryan's bane of existence. He's like, damn it, every time you meet, it's like you're like,
Yeah.
can't help it.
Cause there's so many lions
'Cause
that
there's-
sit on
Yeah.
different committees in this town that whenever there's a lions meeting, it breaks all kinds of
Just
law and
totally
stuff. But
does.
it's not, they're not talking about any, you know what I mean? They're
We
not
don't.
doing that, but
We
it's just.
totally do
Yeah.
not.
It's
True.
just, it's one of those things, it's always like, oh, it's in the back of your mind, you know?
So, okay, well, we'll do, what kind of schedule do you have, John? Or do you prefer Jonathan or John?
John, please.
John,
Yeah, I
okay.
feel like I'm in trouble if I get called
Yeah.
John.
Okay,
My schedule's wide open.
okay. All right, so we'll get together, we'll talk in the next day or two and pick
Yeah.
something for next week.
Yeah.
And, I watched the meeting that got sent out the other day on the,
Which
what the
one?
heck, the one that you sent out on the.
Oh, the
blast-
public hearing
the
about.
public hearing, right.
Budget.
yeah.
Did we figure out how to pronounce his last name or not?
Cressage. Yep, I was wrong, publicly,
It-
on a
it-
meeting.
Yeah, it's definitely message.
She still
curious what
doesn't
you
believe
said.
it.
I have to
It's,
go back and watch it.
I was under the impression that at one point he told me Kresge.
it is Kresge.
That's Cressage.
It's Kresge.
It's Kresge.
It's Kresge.
I say it's Kresge as well. See?
You wanna, I will bet you $10 right now. It
I
is
will literally
Kresge.
walk over to him and ask him and just say.
I did.
"Ask."
I asked him during a lunch thing here.
I mean, he's gonna be here
Kresge, you
in
keep
like
saying
10 minutes.
Cressage.
Is he
It's
really?
not, it's Kresge.
Yeah, for the open space
He
meeting.
said, let me
Oh, let's
introduce
ask
myself.
him.
My
I just
name
gotta
is
find
Bart
this out.
Yeah, he said that
Kresge.
to me, cause I was
See?
sitting there.
Kresge.
I said
That's
it,
it,
I said from the,
Kresge.
because that's what
Yeah.
it's spelt.
It's Kresge.
Yes.
It's not Cressage.
It's spelled Kresge.
Yes.
That's funny.
And we had this argument, and we were like, I'm gonna ask, and I forgot to one time, but he came over and introduced himself to
Me.
to all of us as a
Yeah.
joke, but to, the new,
Candace, the new
yes,
town
the new town clerk. And we were all laughing, where he's like, but you said it with confidence, I was impressed. And he's like, I swear you said that. And I'm like, no, he didn't. It's Mark Kresge.
Okay, and then
So-
we got, one.
He's gonna watch this video. He's probably his ears are burning right now.
And
He's
then
been good
John,
time.
Yep.
Week of, 8, there
Tempted
we
to just
go.
call him and let it go
Go
to
ahead.
voicemail.
Go ahead, let
Well,
it go.
no, he's waiting for a meeting.
Oh,
I'll answer.
is he?
He's calling right now? Put him on speakerphone.
Yeah.
Okay. Well then, I think that we can skip, the,
Still not.
the,
What? Oh, I've sent, it went through?
Yeah, I don't.
Check your spam. It came from the Hubbardston 250.
Alright, since we're
At
not
Gmail.
talking about the,
Not the-
the
not-
overlay,
not my
which was gonna be a
select.
very lengthy, I think, discussion.
It still was.
But not as bad as we thought.
Do
I will jump back to one of the things that we missed, and then we're done with this meeting. And we skipped over cooperative advertising with other websites. I don't know if you read the email that I sent that had some of the numbers from the website, Destination Hubbardston, about why people were coming here, how they were getting here, where they were gonna stay. Did anybody see that? Nobody.
For what? In the drive?
No, this
No.
was before the drive.
How long
Oh,
ago?
probably. If you sent it out, yeah, long ago, yes.
Well, not that long ago. I mean,
Well-
everybody was on the committee, so
Okay.
it was in the last month or two.
It was
but
an email about what?
It was an email, and there was an attachment with it, and it gave some figures about, I had run a website called Destination Hubbardston, and it just promoted tourism in Hubbardston. And then we collected information. Why did you choose Hubbardston? How did you get to Hubbardston? What airport did you go into? That kind of thing. It's good. I had passed it to Dan Gallant, and he loved it. He said we could really work with this, and then he was gone from select board shortly after. But here's my point. A lot of that information, okay, a lot of people came to that website because they went through my business website. It just happens to be a high traffic, okay? And it just made me really think, maybe we can connect with some other websites, okay, that also have high traffic, high volume, and see if we can't do something with them, work out some kind of not a payable one, but, referral type of thing, and get them to have a little something about us on their website and direct it to the town of Hubbardston. And just, everybody just think about that. Some ideas might pop into your head if you know of some high trafficked websites or whatever.
I found the survey numbers. Would it be okay to link that doc into our meeting notes?
Sure, what?
So I found what you sent us, which
Okay,
was
good.
the survey numbers from your website.
Okay.
Can I link that Google Doc in our meeting notes? Is that okay to do?
Well, ultimately, our minutes need to get posted on the website as a public document,
Okay,
so that might not be meaningful to the public.
sure.
Wait, I don't understand that then.
For now, absolutely.
For now, just a link that we can click
Yeah.
on to reference. Okay.
Whitney, so are you saying that?
What date was that email that you got? Cause we'll let Regina.
I have it right here.
Oh, you did,
Yeah, I have
okay.
it. John pulled it up. So are you saying that you have a business account and you have like a link on your business website, like to the town website?
I did, no, not to the town. I had created a website called Destination Hubbardston.
Destination Hubbardston,
Okay. And that was a tourism website, let's say.
Okay.
Okay, we don't have a Chamber of Commerce.
Mhm.
We even did an online newspaper for a couple of years, just trying to,
Mhm.
just get some recognition and, highlight the town. And so it had everything, from, that we're a four-season area because we've got the mountain for skiing and, all kinds of things. Talked about our, how far away we were from Boston and, putting us right in the middle. And highlighted a lot of the, surrounding areas, because not everything has to be right in your specific town, even if the website's about it, okay? And so from that, I had a survey, and those were the questions that were asked on the survey. Now, how a lot of people, so when you see on the bottom of, you know, the answers, it'll say, you know, how you found this, and it'll say social media, blah, 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 and then it'll say other website. The other website was my business website, and I was sending people from that website over to the Destination Hubbardston website. I didn't send them over to the town website, I sent them over
I
to the
see.
Destination Hubbardston
Okay.
website. Because I wanted to get the information from folks. And I thought it was very useful, the information, if you look at those, you know, on those numbers, I thought those numbers were said a lot about what people were doing.
Right.
What's he saying?
Club and Country.
Oh, don't even,
No.
I thought about them so much today, I don't know why.
Shh, we don't talk about that.
Gosh.
We're done talking about that.
So, if you see, that's just not a suggestion, but if you know, I mean, I think that sometimes doing that cross-sectioning, you know, advertising could be a good idea.
That would be good to talk about at the meet and greet.
Well, that would actually,
There you go.
yeah.
Ask the businesses.
Great idea. Because that was also something similar to what Josie had suggested in the beginning. She thought it would be kind of neat to hook up some of the businesses together. For example, Sunset Soaps or the Candle Company. Well, we've got Jane at Country Trails. Maybe she'd like to carry some of those things in there. So I thought that was great. As I was talking to our businesses over the last couple of weeks, and about the meet and greet also, one of them said, oh, you know, soaps and all that, I'd love to include that in our swag bags. So I thought, this is what I want to have happen at the meet and greet. I want those businesses to get together and be inspired by one another and share those ideas. So, I'm gonna write yours down.
So I'll tell you the whole backstory about that website another time. That's
Oh,
a
I wanna
long
be
story.
included in it for sure.
Oh, Whitney wants to, yeah. It's gonna be a long
It was
afternoon.
shocking, it was shocking. Okay, well, all right, we can close this. Any community concerns, or anybody have anything to add, or comments, or anything? Nope, okay. Can I get a motion to close the meeting, please?
I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous, it is.